All right, what is going on? How y'all doing today on this Friday, February the 18th? It's your Uncle Steve here in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Thank you for joining me on this Friday. What is the first uh, official off weekend of the NFL when you start talking about no games coming up anytime soon. So that is actually pretty interesting to see. The off season finally starts. Now, all of the debate, now all of the what if really gets started right now. And we're kind of in between things. I think the next thing coming up, I think franchise tags and stuff, that's like the very next thing we have. So we'll kind of see how things work out from there. I just came on for, as we normally do on Friday, just for a little free talk and just things that were on my mind that I want to kind of just talk about. And appreciate everybody joining us today. Brother Winston in the house. What's going on? Armani's here as usual. What's up, nephews? I got the French host ready to go. The brunch is live and in effect. Brother David is here as well. What's up, Dave? How you doing? My brother Marcus, how you doing, sir? Good to see you out here on a Friday. And of course, when you start talking about trending things that are going on with a little hint of Atlanta Falcons in it, I think the biggest stir this particular week is a couple of folks talking about the possibility of the Chicago Bears trading Justin Fields, not trading the number one pick, trading Justin Fields to accrue some more draft capital. And of course, naturally, you're probably going to hear a lot about Atlanta in that scenario. He just did an interview, and I wish I could pull it up. I probably need to go get that video and put it on here. When you start talking about the possibility of Justin being here in Atlanta, I had a couple of things that came out from Justin where he was talking about cold weather and wanting to be in a dome. And then there was an interview where he was recently talking about his time in Atlanta when he came here for the game last year and how he was emotional because, he was traveling roads that he normally comes to when he comes here. So I think naturally the connection is, maybe that could be a piece to bring back to Atlanta if Chicago is willing to deal. Now, I'll go out on a limb and say, not even go out on a limb. In my opinion, that would definitely be a move I would be more in favor of as opposed to looking for the big payday for Lamar Jackson. Naturally, as people don't understand, I think what we're trying to do is improve this team. As soon as you mention anybody's name, those people who doubt what you're saying want to come up with all of the, like if you say Justin Fields, he can't throw, he's not good. Look what he's doing up there. They went 3-14. You look at Lamar Jackson. He gets hurt. He's not that good. He only won one playoff game, whatever. But then we talk about our current third round pick. And I promise you, it sounds like we got Tom Brady in the making. And I'm just trying to balance it out by hearing the other side of it. I think I've gotten better as the weeks have gone because I do realize you still haven't seen, the full potential of Desmond Ridder. You can't in a couple of games, but it's the off season right now. So while it's the off season, I'm looking for my team not only to get better by free agency, drafting, and stuff like that. But I'm also looking to improve what I have. If I can make an improvement with somebody better than Grady Jarrett, I'm going to do it. If I'm going to find a compliment to AJ Terrell or somebody who might be better, I'm going to look at it. If I see another tight end piece that I could possibly compare to Kyle Pitts and match him or either compete with him, I'm going to do it. Excuse me. And I think this is the part of the year that I love to hear ideas on improving the team. I think everyone wants to. This is how we are as fans. This is how we'll program. We'll draft someone. I'll use, for example, Drake London. And it's not saying Drake London didn't have a great year. We draft Drake London and we say, well, he's here for the next 10 years. Says who? You try to bring in more competition. You try to bring in people that could push him. Tyler Algier, great pick for where you got him, 5th round. Okay, we're set for the next 5 years at running back. No. You get some competition to bring them in. See, we haven't had this opportunity to do that over the last few years because we've been programmed to think that these little diamonds in the rough are these people that we're grabbing. And I'm not saying these guys haven't done well. The D. Alfors, the Abdullah Andersons, the Caleb Huntleys, folks like that came on and flashed some talent in between. And then as fans, we'll get stuck right there and just say, oh, they're going to be the greatest and just push on. No, it's off season. Competition breeds, like a different type of fire in those guys. I don't want Drake London to sit there and think, oh, wide receiver 1 is just absolutely wrapped up. No. I'm going to bring in as many wide receivers fiscally as I can to push him. Tyler Algier did some nice stuff this year. Got 1,000 yards, broke the Atlanta record. I want to caution people when they say that we're playing 17 games now. So you only have to average 40-some yards a game before we get too carried away with 1,000 yards. That's not to say I didn't like what I saw from Tyler Algier. But if they bring in another running back in the 3rd round or 4th round, I'm all for it. Keep pushing. We settle for mediocrity like it's our right as Falcon fans. We can't do that. So when this polarizing quarterback stuff comes up, and then I hear Justin Fields. First thing, and first off, we saw him when he came to the game here in the Georgia Dome. And no mistaking his athletic ability. Is he still rough around the edges? Absolutely. It's only his 2nd year. But he does have a full year and a half of starts under his belt. And I'm sure he hears the things going on. Not necessarily to Atlanta, but he hears that it may not be a guarantee that he's in Chicago next year. And if you're Chicago, I would play that route. I would play that to the hilt. I have the number 1 pick, Houston, Indianapolis. Y'all want to get it? Come with the draft picks. That's the reason why I kind of think at the end of the day, I think it would be unwise for them to move him. If I were Chicago, I would try to build as much around him as I can. But again, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't think it's a coincidence. So let me get back to some more people talking. But yeah, that's just where I am. Marina, how you doing? Said peace and blessings. Uncle Steve sending love your way. Right back at you. Cousin James in the house. What's going on, man? Good to see you in Uncle Steve's lounge. Thank you so much. John Harris says brunch. I'll eat here, but let your waiters know they ain't tipping over 20%. You cheap. Carlos, what's going on, brother? How you feeling, man? Good afternoon to you. David says, combine first tags, New Year league, free agent draft. Let's see where they are in May, and I have a better idea of how we'll progress. Yeah, look, it's easy to say wait, but you know, Falcon fans, you know as well as I do, brother. We're going to break this thing down every day, every inch, because I think, you know, you saw the euphoria of Kansas City and seeing that team win and seeing all the accolades and seeing all the fanfare and stuff like that. Boy, oh boy, this city would lose their mind if the Falcons won the Super Bowl. And hopefully we can get to that, Lord willing. I can't, but before I pass on, I would love to get to that feeling. But just to look at the other teams and the other cities, embrace them and stuff like that, I just want that for a year. Yeah, the Braves won something recently, and that's great, and that is good. Don't get me wrong. I'm a Braves guy. I'm a homer, so I'm going to root for all the local teams. But at the same time, football just hits you differently. I would just love for this team to be able to. I would love for this team to be able to get to that pinnacle and just see how this town would probably embrace them. I'm sure they would. Winston says, the word is Eric Bieniemy is headed to the Commanders and the contract will be completed as today. What's your feelings on this for his career arc? Winston, I'm probably that person. I know anytime you have black coaches in a situation where they might not be getting opportunities to not only get interviewed, but take a serious look at them. I don't know what's going on with Eric Bieniemy. I really don't. I think there is some past stuff that was a while ago that had people a little concerned on his resume, but I've seen way too many coaches have some spots on their record and be brought back not only immediately, but in some cases possibly unfairly. But I think this Eric Bieniemy thing must go beyond just a past. I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall during these interviews and what he is saying. I love the fact that Andy Reid embraced Eric Bieniemy and pushed for him real hard immediately after the Super Bowl to hopefully, push him in the direction to get a head coaching job. But all these places can't be wrong. There's got to be something, because there are some black GMs in this NFL too, and a lot of them are passing them by as well. So I'm just wondering what exactly is going on behind the scenes. I don't claim to know. I have no idea, but I don't know. I wasn't quite the Eric Bieniemy guy anyway, because I don't think Eric Bieniemy is truly. He might be calling 50% of those plays, but I think when I see Andy Reid on there with the shot sheet in his hand, and I see Eric on there, I see Andy talking. So if Eric Bieniemy is calling plays, Andy Reid is either co-signing or tweaking stuff too. Now, he gave him credit, so don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take his shine. But folks, there's got to be something. This isn't like it just started last year, year before. Eric Bieniemy's name has been brought up quite a bit. And for some reason, there's something that we don't know. And that's kind of hard. I don't want to speculate too much, but it's got to be something. John Harris says, either way, we rolling the dice, roll on, roller. I got you. Andre says, Ritter, Fields, or Lamar. That's basically what a lot of people are thinking. And who knows, there could be a wild card in this whole thing. There might be a quarterback out there that we haven't even looked. There might be a quarterback in the draft. I personally don't think that's the right way to go, because again, we already are teaching one young quarterback, and quite honestly, Justin Fields coming up in, you would probably be reteaching some things to him as well. But yeah, that's pretty much what it seems like, those three right there. But don't hesitate on adding some other folks. It looks like the Derek Carr thing. I'm not sure whether that would work out or not. I think if you're going to spend that much money, I think I would go for the big fish aside of Derek. Winston says the average NFL career is 3.5 yards. Why would you not try to continuously bring in talent or push the supplement? And that's my thing. I think we're only 2 years into the Terry Fontenot era. So I don't want to be unfair and say, dude, this is the same old Falcons. People are quick to do that. And it's not fair at this moment. He did take these 2 years to clean up the books, get everything straightened out so we could have what I'm hoping to be is a very busy off season. I was going to throw up some of the players on the team who are free agents, and we'll look at that list very shortly. But he's done so good to clear the books. Now you're really going to see the philosophy of Terry Fontenot and see what exactly he's going to do and what direction we're going to go. Christopher, what's going on? Say, I wouldn't say we need to bring in competition. We need to bring in depth, which will automatically create competition. I think we're saying the same thing. I mean, it depends on how you're saying it. You are bringing in competition. So let's say for instance, you want to say depth. Tyler Algier is your running back, right? And you go and draft somebody in the 5th round again, and that's another running back. And yes, it's competition in training camp, but eventually, if the person who you brought in this year is slightly better than what you had last year, you're going to play that person more. So I think we're playing word semantics right there. Obviously, bringing in depth is going to create competition. I just said it differently. You can actually go the other way. Yeah, bring in competition. Bring in competition at quarterback. If Justin Fields, I'm using an example, is better than Desmond Ridder, then naturally you're going to play him. Shoot, if Jacoby Brissett is better than Desmond Ridder, you're going to play him. So in your depth definition, you bring them in, but eventually in training camp, you're still going to go with who is better. Most coaches would, I would say. Jawan says, we have a great chance to get Fields. We had a great chance to get Fields. Yes, we did. And yeah, we had an excellent chance to get Fields. Norman says, what's up, Norman? Says, there should always be competition. If not, you get comfortable. The good teams always do that. And sometimes you look at some of the good teams and you say, well, hold on. They have a wide receiver one. Why are they bringing this person in? And think about, my son and I were having this conversation about the Minnesota Vikings. Even though you lost Stephon Diggs, you had a pretty solid wide receiver, and some say wide receiver one in Thielen. Why would you draft Justin Jefferson? Why wouldn't you bring in a complimentary guy to do that? And now look what happened. Justin Jefferson has, springboarded to being one of the best wide receivers, if not the best wide receiver in the league, with the offensive player of the year. Andrew says, we don't need another running back. We have a good running game, and we need pass rush, other defensive line, and O-line. Andrew, I disagree with you. Huntley is a free agent this year. CP is awesome, but CP is also on the other side of 31 or 32 now. You never get complacent with just saying we have, and let's say, for instance, I hope it doesn't happen. What happens if Tyler Algier, Lord, hopefully it doesn't happen. What if he has a major injury? All of a sudden your depth goes down like this. Of course you bring in another running back. Matter of fact, running back is one of the positions that I would always look to be at least 3 deep. Your running back roster before this year, and I'm just trying to double check to make sure I'm right about that. Hold on. I know they put a tender on Huntley. I could be wrong about that. He might still be on the roster. But even if he's not, let's put it this way. If you bring somebody in who's better, I mean, that's what it's for. Is Caleb Huntley really the guy? I don't know. You still try to build your roster, man. You don't just stop. Juwan Johnson says, I'm still bullish on Lamar. And I understand. A lot of people are. I get it, and I get the money part. Everybody's stuck on the money, which you should be. Yeah, I get the point. If I hear salary cap hell one more time, that's going to drive me crazy. But I understand why people are saying it. You don't want to jump back in the situation where one person is taking a big chunk of the salary. I get it. People don't realize these days that you can do so much with the salary cap. See New Orleans Saints, who are $55 million under the cap, yet still entertaining bringing in Derek Carr, to show you how flexible you can do things with that salary cap. It can happen. But I understand why people are bullish on Lamar, and I get it. But I don't know. I still would take a chance. Millie, what's going on, man? How you doing today, brother? Good to see you in the house. Andrew says, I'm split on Ritter and Lamar. I just can't choose. It's hard. It's going to be hard. Nephew says, again, there is always the Ritter deserves a chance. No, he doesn't. He has to earn it. He hasn't earned anything. The earning part, I think, is the part that not only Ritter, I'll still say Algier. I'll still say Drake London. I'm not telling you those guys aren't good and they're not going to be on the roster, but why would you stop there? Why would you stop at having one good running back and some backups? Why would you stop at having one good defensive line? Look what Philadelphia did. Philadelphia brought in Quinn. They brought in Sue. Folks, they already had a decent rotation before those guys came. But they still bringing in folks to make their team better and to push everybody else. And obviously it worked, sans the Super Bowl. I mean, you don't stop. What's up, Brother Tidy? How you doing, man? Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to Atlanta Bird Game, man. That page is starting to get more and more subscribers. Keep it rolling. Did you see the interview with Fields just did? They asked him, did he want the Falcons to draft him? He said essentially yes. You could see the nostalgia in his eyes and disappointment in his voice. I don't know if you came at the very beginning, Tidy. I mentioned that interview at the very start, and you know what he was saying. He was driving around and he was getting, if I'm not mistaken, if my words are right, I think he said he was getting a little emotional as he was coming to the stadium and stuff. And they used to come to the game and go to the tailgates. If that's the interview you're talking about, yes, I did see that. And you would listen, if you're Chicago, if you're the Chicago Brass right now, who did not draft him, keep reminding people almost the same Matt Ryan thing. Terry and Arthur had no emotional attachment to Matt because they didn't draft him. Same thing with up in Chicago. He doesn't have an emotional attachment to Justin. He inherited him. So this is your opportunity. You have the number one draft pick. You have an opportunity to pretty much do what you want to do. And keep it real. I got news for people. They could be in the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes. Nobody's thought about that. They might be the only team able to absorb that and still have $40-50 million still available. So while everybody is dismissing, look what Chicago could do. I'm just playing Chicago GM. Chicago could say, you know what? Indianapolis or Carolina or whoever, y'all want this spot? Come get it. Trade that spot out, get 2 more first-round picks. Turn around and say, here, Baltimore, here's a couple of picks here, picks that we acquired. Give them another pick for next year. Bring Lamar there and still be able, with the salary cap they have, to absorb that. Chicago turns it around in 1 year. It's not just Atlanta. I mean, everyone has to think about those scenarios. You can't just box yourself in. I think when you do that as an organization, we pretend like everyone we draft is going to develop and going to improve. Richie Grant, I'm trying to tell y'all, the first year, some of y'all will own Richie Grant like he was going to be the next Troy Polamalu. I'm telling you, I've seen it. We could go back and look. Some of y'all would tell me, well, Jalen Mayfield, I'm telling you, with just a little bit of work. So, yes, you do still need to develop and you still need to improve, but let's stop pretending like the people we have on this roster right now, at this second, every single one of them, the trajectory is up. That's not true. Some of them might balance out. This might be the best Tyler Algier is. I don't think that's the truth. I'm just saying hypothetically. Drake London may not get any better than what he's doing right now. I'm not saying that, just hypothetically. Don't settle. Settling is, to me, is just kind of a give up. And with an opportunity this year to mold the roster like you want to, the mad scientist Terry Fontenot, trust me, I guarantee you he has 10 different scenarios on his desk right now of how he wants to do this, and he hasn't come up with the answer yet. Because a new thing will pop up every day. I'm sure the news with the Justin stuff popped up and it's, kind of wanted to get him anyway, but I got talked into taking Kyle Pitts. So you never know. Nephew says, which is why, again, I'm going to say Coach Smith did not, and I repeat, did not commit to him. Yeah. Ritter, if Ritter was really that much of their guy, Ritter would have been in after the Carolina game that Marcus Mariota was trying to throw the ball from the ground. Ritter would have been the starting quarterback the next week. If that was truly saying, I'm committing to Ritter as our future. That window dressing that y'all got, I go around and I respect a lot of the Atlanta content creators. I really do. And I because, look, they could be thinking I'm just as crazy. But I had people steady talking about what Ritter did against Tampa Bay. What Ritter did against Tampa Bay, the team that basically second half played, which was probably essentially their practice squad. But some people will have you think that was it. I hope Ritter comes out here and makes me eat every word. I hope Ritter comes out and makes me apologize for the rest of his career. But until then, you got to bring some competition in here. Andrew says Fields is cheap. Take him. Well, we know he's cheaper than a free agent at this moment because he's still on his rookie contract. He's only in his third year. And this is the thing for those of you who are, we're going to take a chance on Fields and he can't do anything. You know what? If Fields isn't that great, after year 4, instead taking the 5th-year option, go. And you still haven't spent a lot of money, hopefully, and be able to do what you need to do in the future. What's going on out of your Falcon mind? Y'all make sure y'all take care of John and Mike. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Those cats put on some good stuff. I know they were going through some of their draft prospects this week. I think they do their show on Wednesday at 7. I think I get that right. I'm going to get that right one day. Put it inside the chat if you do, fellas, just to let me know. Andre says, otherwise take Lamar and focus on. Otherwise take Lamar or focus on Ritter plus good defense. Yeah, those are options. Brother Wallace, what's going on? How you doing, sir? Millie Mills said, Eric B. not stupid. A Patty Mahomes don't come around every year. Simple. Yeah. And it'll be interesting when he goes to the Commanders, what they have for him there. RC, what's going on, man? Says Kyle Pitts gonna be comeback player of the year. Yeah. I hope so. I hope so. Is that old goat Freeman is a free agent if we really want to solidify the running game? Hey, I'd bring him in to be a running backs coach. See what he does for that. That might be pretty good. I would do that. Hey, Lisa, how you doing on this Friday? Good to hear from you. David Starr says Carr's visiting the Jets this week. And remember, folks, because of the situation with Derek Carr has an up on all those folks that can't start negotiating until March because of the situation of them releasing him this close in the free agency. He's going around the teams right now, so he can basically hand pick where he wants to go. And NFL teams, this is the crazy thing. NFL teams are going to be kind of in a quandary when you think about it. Do you show all of your love towards Derek Carr right now, not knowing all the transactions and trades and franchise tags and stuff that might go on in March? It's kind of a weird situation. I'm sure Derek Carr is probably wants to be wrapped up before all that other stuff happens. Anthony Moss in the house. Anthony says some of these fans are giving me a headache on Ritter, really thinking he's our savior going into next season. I'm ready for free agency to start like yesterday. And let me make it clear to Anthony, because I don't want the people who are really behind this cat. I don't want you to lose your Falcon fanness. I don't know how that came out. I am rooting for Ritter as an Atlanta Falcon. I am rooting for whoever comes in this building as an Atlanta Falcon. I think the only thing I would just like to see is their serious competition, not Mariota, but serious competition here to push the kid. And who knows, that might push him to another level. Those of you who keep saying, yeah, got to give him time, you got to give him time. You can say that on a franchise. Philadelphia, perfect example. Philadelphia had time. You know why? Because they had equity in that Super Bowl in 2018. They had the equity to strip it down, bring somebody new in, and let them rebuild. Because they just had the hardware. This Super Bowl berth right here probably will give them another couple of years. Because all the free agents on their team is going to be I'm not going to say a overhaul, but Philadelphia is not going to look the same as next year. And that comes to my other point. I'm going to bring that up in a couple of seconds when it comes to Jalen Hurts. Mike was just like Matt Ryan. You leave my hero alone. Wallace says, I agree with you because if Eric Bieniemy is the OC and really calling the plays, why does Reeve have a play calling sheet too? And look, I know there are coaches that like to listen in on stuff. I mean, they all do. All head coaches do. But most head coaches, if they're letting their OC and DC really do their job, they don't have the sheet in their hand. They're just listening to what's going on. Kind of think Dan Quinn. Michael says CP get burned out in the second half 2 years in a row. Good question. I mean, not good question. Good comment. Absolutely. Out of your Falcon mind says, got to add a running back. The way Tyler runs, you never know, man. Like you said, 3 deep is ideal. And that's not – when I forgot who that was that said you don't need a running back. Yeah, this league, you got to have at least 2 or 3. Look at Kansas City, what they were able to do, because Clyde Helaire, he kind of, who's thinking about him right now? not a soul. The running back position is something. I mean, if you have a good running game, most of the time, I mean, unless you're just individually special, you don't have to have one hero. The way Tennessee runs the ball with Derrick Henry left, Derrick Henry right, Derrick Henry up the middle, teams don't do that a lot anymore. You have to have at least 2 to 3. As great as Eckler's been running up there, they got I forgot my guy's name. Was it? It's not Spiller, is it? The college guy from a couple of years ago. Got to have some depth with the running back. David says, for everyone screaming about the O-line, they were a top 10 unit according to PFF. And in order to keep that the same, you got to make sure you make some contingencies just in case McGarry isn't here. We got to start thinking about that too. Wallace says Huntley is going to be a free agent. I kind of thought he was. I just wanted to double check that. So yeah, you move on. And remember, Huntley was cut. They cut Huntley this year and brought him back on the practice squad. And he turned out to make the most of it. So I hope his future, whether with the Falcons or somewhere else, is bright. Rusty, what's going on, man? So I'm not on the Justin Fields train at all, but if we were going to get him, I could at least get excited about that. What I can't get excited about is bringing in someone like Tannehill or Brissett to compete with Ritter. I just don't see Terry calling Chicago and be able to like send me Fields. He was in our lap 2 years ago. That would be Terry admitting he made a mistake by not drafting him. I don't see it. I don't think the admitting a mistake thing. I mean, look, at that particular time, you only can pick one person with the number 4 pick. You can't have both. The same way, if we would have picked Justin, there'd be people saying, oh my goodness, we could have picked Pitts. And there are other people that still say we should have picked Michael Parsons. We will play we could have picked TJ Watts. We could have got this person. Hey, who cares if you missed the first time? If you get a chance to get them this time, more power to you. And the biggest plus in this, Rusty, is not the fact that Justin Fields is the end-all, be-all, is that he's a young quarterback who, to me, there were some people trying to compare Justin Fields and Marcus Mariota. I know Justin Fields' completion percentage was not great for those of you who don't think I look at numbers. But if you sit here, I went to LensCrafters today to get an eye exam. If you're going to sit here and tell me with a straight face that Justin Fields is no better than Marcus Mariota, which I have heard, you need to go to that LensCrafter with me. I'll give you the number. I don't know what else to describe and tell people about that. As far as bringing in Tannehill would be interesting. Yeah, if Brissett's coming in here, that means Ritter's going to be the starting quarterback. Brissett's not coming in here and challenging Ritter. Ritter will be if you'll know by the free agent quarterback that comes in here, if we end up going that route, excuse me, you'll know if they're being brought in here to compete or to start. Tannehill comes in here, more than likely he'll start. Brissett comes in here, Ritter will have the job. WCG, what's going on? Everyone is forgetting that it wasn't Max Ryan making Max, but also Julio Jones make. Oh no, people remember. I think what it is, we want to make yesterday like today. When you keep hearing people say we were in salary cap hell, well, that was kind of self-imposed. Matt Ryan, again, and Julio Jones, because of the great year that they brought us in 2016, I think Arthur and TD were all in love with keeping that feeling. So we overpaid over emotion. And we overpaid for the GOAT, Devontae Freeman. We overpaid for Deion Jones. We overpaid for Desmond Trufant. We overpaid for Matt Ryan and Julio. The max contracts, yeah, you're right. Both of those paid a part, but I think it's a little bit different now. The way they can kind of sign them to the contract, be able to put that bonus money in, spread it on down the line. I think you can do that. This is a different era. I think that Lamar Jackson contract wouldn't hurt as much. Michael says, I'll take Justin Fields. Thank you. Absolutely. I will. Lisa says, where I can catch that Fields interview. I have seen it on YouTube in the shorts. I've already seen it in the short section, and I'm trying to think where else I see it. But it wasn't, I don't know who the guy was who was interviewing him, but he looked familiar, but it's on YouTube. I know that. If Ravens are dumb enough to put the non-exclusive tag on Lamar, send them the 2 first rounds and call it a day. I can live with that too. As long as Terry has a plan on how to shift that money, that doesn't bother me either. It doesn't. Jawan says, I didn't think about that. RC says, Fields would have been killed by our line had we drafted him. Plus, he wasn't going to throw to nobody else. This is true. But you know what he would have? No, you know what he would have did though, RC? He still would have been behind Matt Ryan. That was my biggest thing during the draft of 2021. Here was the anti, well, I shouldn't say anti. This was the Matt Ryan fan base. Why do we draft a quarterback at number 4 and not play him? That would be dumb. You would be wasting a pick. Look at the number 1 picks and how they all fared their first year. Lawrence, Fields. Lance didn't even really get on the field. Zach Wilson. Matt Jones was the only person that did okay. It's not like he lit up the world. He just happened to be in that Belichick system. You see, this year, all that greatness didn't go anywhere. So what we could have done was stuff Justin behind Matt, and I would have loved for him to learn behind Matt Ryan for that 1 year. And then we could have parted ways in 2022, let Justin come in. Every point you're making is correct. He would have been killed by the offensive line in 2021, and he didn't have anybody to throw to. So you're absolutely right on both of those accounts. But if you did draft him, he would already be 2 years into learning Arthur Smith's offense, whether he was on the field in 21 or not. He could have been on the field in 22 and going into his 3rd year of offense. I think for somebody of his capability would be pretty good. Yes, he needs to improve his accuracy, but I would rather have a young person improving his accuracy on a rookie deal than to pay as much money as I would want to for Lamar Jackson. Let me make it clear. I'm not backpedaling. I'm saying if you can get Lamar Jackson, get one of the top 10 most talented quarterbacks, get him. But I also say this is actually, in my opinion, might be a little bit better. And you're bringing them home. And if you go and see that video, you'll see what we're talking about. WC says Lamar isn't picking Chicago over Atlanta, and if the non-exclusive tag is on him, it will be up where Lamar wants to be. Deshaun Watson wasn't going to pick Cleveland until the money came in. We can say all we want. I think Deshaun Watson wanted to be in Atlanta because he was familiar. I think he was home. I think all of that worked out. But when Cleveland came in, if y'all remember, we were almost kind of like the Super Bowl before the 4th quarter. The fan base was about to explode with the news of Deshaun Watson. Remember all of it's just about there. They're working things out. It's almost here. And then all of a sudden, Cleveland comes in with the move. The Lamar Jackson thing could be the same. Chicago doesn't have to worry about the fans getting mad because they got $95 million to spend. They don't have to worry about, if you spend all that money, you're not going to have any left. Shh. Chicago almost has $100 million in salary cap. Trust me, they'll have enough to do that and rebuild a team. Jawan says, in my opinion, Uncle Terry doing a good job for us. Of course he is. I think he is. Of course he is. I never said he wasn't. I think he's doing a great. I think he's doing a great job. Millie says, "Preach, please preach, Unc." WGC says, "I don't know why a lot of fans fall in love with a player and then don't care or want to get better. Even if Mahomes was available there, would people wanted to keep Ritter?" I think I said it before. I think we're just kind of a hurt franchise. I think we've just been hurt so much. We've been teased a couple of times at the top of the Super Bowl. We've been teased with flashes of greatness. And I think this franchise is just so hit dog that we get something that looks somewhat good and we just hold on to it. It's just amazing to me. And I'm really kind of surprised of the overall just total hug embrace of Ritter after 4 games. I can see the embracing of Ritter as an Atlanta Falcon to say, hey, he's on the squad and whoever comes next, he might be good to compete with him. But it's just amazing. I think people, and maybe there are some people that want some type of stability. Maybe that's it. Matt Ryan symbolized stability for the Falcons, whether good or bad, up or down. We had Matt Ryan to talk about for 14 years. The last 2 years, last season and now going into this offseason, our quarterback position is influx, I should say. People don't like that. Well, just give it to Ritter and let him do it. He go, well, why would you just give it to him? That'd be like somebody coming at the job and somebody went, oh, he took his place. He took the boss's place for half a day. You know what? You're the new boss. Without truly seeing a full picture. And for those of you who want to go back to the Cincinnati Bearcats, no, that's not a full snapshot. Your season consisted of a Notre Dame win and a horrific showing against Alabama. Let's slow down on that. Gregory, what's going on, man? I just didn't like what Phil said about the cold weather. Some stuff you keep to yourself. Yeah, when you start to, I'm going to be honest with you. Some of the stuff he was saying, I don't think I would have said as a Chicago Bear. You're not in Chicago and say you don't like the cold weather, even if you don't. PR-wise, I just don't think it's great. Unless you're trying to get out of Chicago. Message. Audio Falcon Mind says, you're right, Wednesday is the 7th. Y'all go check out those 10 stages. Yeah, the 10 stages of Falcon fans. Yeah, Mike is a fool. Y'all go check out Audio Falcon Mind. That video is crazy. The 10 stages of being a Falcon fan. He did a nice job on that. Dave says this fan base fall for anything. The Bears are playing the game. Well, the Bears have a lot of the cards too. You got the number 1 pick. You got the most salary cap room. The Bears are the players this year. The Bears can easily go from 3-14 to making the playoffs. It's just like that. If they play it right. One way or the other, and think about what they're doing. They have the number 1 pick. Again, the Justin Fields thing is not even part of it yet. The Justin Fields thing would be separate of the number 1 pick. You go to the Falcons and say, hey, Falcons, let me get your number 8 pick this year. I don't know. I might ask for a number 2 or number 3 for next year. Get that, turn around and package it up. Go get Lamar. It could happen. Millie says, I would only give a first rounders 24, 25, 26 for Lamar, nothing else. Every team loves first rounders, but the 2nd through 7th is where the GM's at. I hear you. Winston says, Derek Carr meeting with the Jets. Yes, sir. I'm trying to tell you. It's good stuff. Todrick, what's going on, sir? Say, hey, new to the stream. I'm riding with Ritter. You don't get in cap hell there's our subject. To go back to Cap Hill, I don't want a $50 million quarterback. Both Jackson and Fields are glorified running backs. Case closed. No, the case isn't closed, Todrick. And thank you for joining the channel. We appreciate you, brother. What we do around here is we give opinions, and sometimes, they might not line up. You keep saying Cap Hill. Everybody who says Cap Hill, let me explain something to y'all. Even if Lamar Jackson signs for $55 million annually, that it averages to be annually, I guarantee you the first 2 years of that contract, his salary will be something like $20-some million and $30-some million the next year for the salary cap hill. The other thing, the salary cap moved up $16 million this year. The salary cap will probably move up $20 million next year and $15 more million next year. The $50 million quarterback by 2026 is going to be the average. Right now, for a quality starting quarterback, the price probably starts at 30 to 35. So I hear you with the Ritter stuff, and I'm glad you support him. One thing we are never against supporting Falcons. Ritter is a Falcon. I support him as a Falcon. But to go to the salary cap thing again, I think people are just, just kind of a little, I don't know, might be a little scared of what you can do. Now, that being said, Todrick, I also think they're also the stereotypical, they're glorified running backs. Yeah, Lamar's glorified running has got his team to the playoffs 4 times. Yeah, I know he hadn't won but one game. And also an MVP. The glorified running back was 3 points away from winning the Super Bowl this year. We got to stop with the stereotypical running quarterback. You know what? He's an athlete. Lamar Jackson is an athlete who can throw. Justin Fields is an athlete who can throw. Now, if you want to, you want to put him in that box, that's on you. But I disagree with you. I don't think the case is closed. But we appreciate your opinion always. WCG says, answer this honestly. Who out there aside of Atlanta thinks Ritter is a great quarterback? That's a very good question. I think people are emotional, though. I think people are emotional about Ritter. I think, again, we want to stay stable. We don't want to take chances. And what you find is the teams that take chances, Kansas City drafted Mahomes when they already had Alex Smith, who was taking them to playoffs annually. They take chances. They took a chance. Sometimes we got to do that. WCG, if Lamar is tagged with what looks like a non-exclusive franchise tag, all it would take is 2 firsts. Absolutely. Billy says, if Ritter balls out and gets us to the playoffs and that has us winning and everything, when it's time to pay him, it's going to be 60 to 65 million. Either way, we got to pay a quarterback big money. I'm glad you said that, because that leads me to my Jalen Hurts. Before the playoffs and before he made his playoff run, here was everybody. See, Falcon fans, you stick with your second or third round quarterback, because when he gets to the playoffs, you're not paying everybody else. You're not paying the quarterback, and you can pay everybody else. Let me tell you what just happened from Jalen Hurts arguably being the best player in the Super Bowl. And I really mean that. I think Patrick Mahomes played his heart out. Jalen Hurts was the best player on the field. Let me tell you what's going to happen now that Jalen Hurts is going into his 4th year at quarterback as a second-round pick. Jalen Hurts is on his last year of his contract going in this year. Jalen Hurts' agency, the young ladies who run his agency, I think an all-female agency, They're going to go in there this summer and say, hey, y'all do realize after the last game, Jalen's not going to be under contract. They are going to go in there, and let me tell you what Jalen Hurts, same Jalen Hurts who only got $2 million last year, Jalen Hurts is going to get 40 to 45. Same Jalen Hurts that months ago people were like, see, that's how you build it. If you win, the investment is going to be the next year. Now, Herbert, Burrow, different situations because those were first round picks. They're already making decent enough money at the beginning. But as Jalen Hurts folks go in there and get that $40 to $40 million contract, because you know what Jalen's people are going to say? Oh, Kyler Murray is making that and he been to the playoff once and didn't win. Oh, Lamar Jackson has been to the playoffs and only won one playoff game. My second round quarterback just took you to the Super Bowl and was the best player on the field and probably should have won. We'll start the bidding at $45 million. Don't believe it? Stay. My watch talking. Don't believe it? Wait till this summer. Y'all get so stuck on this rookie contract stuff. It will change. Mahomes did not make it to the end of his rookie contract. Hurts will not make it to train. Hurts will be going into training camp with a new contract. And the average will be starting $40 million. Burrow will be making $50 million. Trust me on that one. Burrow is probably the person looking at all of this stuff from afar. Burrow's about to get paid. Herbert is watching because he's going to be one, barring him making a Super Bowl run, he's going to be next. The quarterback position is what it is. So the $50 million Lamar asking for this year that everybody's so outraged about, wait for the next couple of years. Philip, what's going on? Philip said, I'm late recap. What's going on, brother? We talking just free for all, to be honest with you. Just kind of talking about, again, what's today's bullet thing we've been talking about is, Falcons. Not for everybody. What's going on? Say, come on, Uncle Steve, tell him. I appreciate you, man. And thank you for jumping in here, man. We appreciate that. Dave says, drive that price up, Chicago. Absolutely. That was what you're supposed to do. Dave said, I'm not giving up the 8th pick for Fields, as Cal Hurd is stating in his pure idiocy, I should say. I'm sorry. But I would do it for a 3rd and 5th. He hasn't performed at the level to give up first round. You're going to have to give up a first round. I know whether you like it or not. He's probably they're gonna start at the 8th pick. He was their starting quarterback for it's got to be 15 to 20 games. You're gonna at least give a first. No, if the Falcons were able to do that for a 3rd and a 5th, that'd be the highway robbery of the draft. Christopher says Matt's original contract wasn't the problem. It was those damn restructures every year, which kept him giving him a mini extension and created more dead cap. Yes and no, because at the time when Matt signed, both of the times when Matt signed his contract, which is 16, and then not 16, the first one right after the 2012 year, and then the next one in 2018, he was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL when he signed both of those contracts. I think the last one he did, Aaron Rodgers came back like 2 weeks later and redid his deal and went up. But you're right to a certain extent, all the restructuring and stuff like that. Because actually, when he signed the first contract, I think he restructured that before they even got to training camp. So from a TD standpoint, sometimes you have to maybe start those contracts out in a better place. I think a lot of people are now those first couple of years kind of, placing those salaries at a place where you can backload that to the later years, and then have to reach in and create a bonus and spread it down the line. Yeah, I guess I'm a little closer to going where you're going. Yeah, I guess I could understand that, how that was kind of hurting us. But he was the highest paid quarterback, so one way or the other, it was going to bite us either way. Say Aaron Rodgers is too old. Nah, I don't want no parts of Aaron Rodgers. I mean, when I say nah, I mean no to Aaron Rodgers. You're right. Let me see. I'm trying to get to some folks we haven't heard from a lot so we can spread the wealth here. Rusty says, for those, not you, Steve, of you who don't like Ritter's first starts, go look at Justin Fields' number his first 4 games. I warn you, they're not pretty. He improved, though. So if we do start Ritter next year, there is hope. 4 games down don't define a young quarterback's career. And the one thing, Rusty, that I wish, that's why I was saying as far as, that's why I wanted Justin here. I think this system would have been so beneficial for him to look at prior to starting in 2021. And then by the time 2022 came, I think he would have been so ready to lead this team. Dave says Lamar getting injured would destroy the Falcons and cost some people their jobs. Listen, it's so funny when we start talking about scenarios that we don't want, we reach for the most, I don't want to say negative, but the most detrimental part to Lamar's going to get hurt. He's going to get injured. Just like Brock Purdy was a brand new quarterback and a rookie, and he got injured. So that's his fault too, right? So now Brock Purdy is injury prone. Jalen Hurts got hurt at the end of this year. So now he's injury prone, right? We can argue that, right? People are going to get injured, y'all. It's football. Yes, some get injured more than others, but the one difference I'll say about Lamar is when Lamar's on the field, he wins. It's documented. Go check it. When he's not on the field, the team usually doesn't do well. Can't get scared of the injury. All of the NFL players, no matter what position you play, are an injury away from being out of your career. We gotta stop that. Millie says, I don't know about Levis better than Ritter. Right. Well, Levis, he's an interesting case, but there's nothing about him overwhelming that I would say I would take over Ritter right now. Out of your Falcon Mind says, nobody knows anything about college quarterbacks until their first year into the league, at least. Tons of examples of great quarterbacks that started slow. If they got the physical, it's about the neck up. Yeah, that's true. And again, as I rolled through the 2021 draft with the great quarterback draft, all the guys struggled. Except, like I said, Matt Jones didn't struggle, but he handed off to Ramon Stevenson and had a really good defense with the Patriots 2 years ago. That's a pretty big advantage. Not for everybody to say, Uncle Steve, if we can get Fields, we are a playoff team this year. We are a playoff with this team. He was 7-10 with nothing. I'll try to explain that to some folks. And Justin Fields is Mariota. Okay, y'all. Oh, okay. Okay. Millie says, Terry F. Baby ain't worried about fans being mad. No, we helps the teams. All he cares about. Yeah, I think Terry he has a plan, and very good that he hasn't shared that plan. But I think we're going to be players somewhere. There's going to be a move that we make with this Atlanta Falcons team that's going to come out of the blue. I don't know whether that's offensively. I don't know whether that's defensively. I don't know whether that's going to be a draft impact. He's going to do some things this year that's going to be out of the box. And for this franchise and this fan base, we need it. 3:30 in the house, and we have PTSD. Winning will be a good type of therapy, brother. Preach. That's what I'm talking about. It's about the winning, man. It's about the winning. Anthony says, I'm good with Desmond Ridder as a quarterback until he isn't. That's always been my take. I'm not married to any quarterback as an Atlanta fan until the team starts winning meaningful games. That's fair. That's about the fairest statement I've said that I've heard. That's fair. Let me see. Let me come down here a little bit. Dave says, if you're surprised by that, I don't know what to tell you. You just answer your own question. Stability. I ain't gonna lie to you, Dave. I probably missed what you're saying. Who says give it to him? Who is saying give it to him? Come on, no one's saying that. No, there have been a lot of people saying. There have been people that have already jumped on the Ridder bandwagon so much to say he's going to be the next Matt Ryan, which to me is not a compliment. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Matt Ryan was a solid quarterback. He's not Hall of Fame. He's Falcons Hall of Fame. He was a very solid quarterback that got us through some good years. First 5 years he was here, awesome. Gave us a nice MVP season, Super Bowl berth, awesome. But if you really lay everything out as what he done, if you're going to say he's going to be the next Matt Ryan, and I've seen it, I definitely didn't bring receipts, but that has definitely been said. I don't know if I would sell that to the fan base. Since Falcon fans have salary cap PTSD, they do. We start talking about money. $40 million. And back when Matt got that money, the salary cap was probably about 160, 170. Something like that. Probably might have been lower than that. I think I did the salary cap thing one time where I showed, I think it had moved up almost $100 million since 2010. Norman says, say it louder for the ones in the back. They're not listening on that salary cap. I don't know. And I know in Atlanta Bird game, I know, Toddy, we talked about that, and we might have to seriously do that. We might have to maybe branch out in our own ways and just get somebody to truly come in for the fan base of Uncle Steve's Lounge and Atlanta Bird game, just to kind of break down to say how that happens. They have a person on the Atlanta Falcons website / network that he comes in to the folks when they do the little call-ins with the fans and explains how they can maneuver the salary cap. And y'all remember last year we were $20 million under the salary cap, and we ended up fielding a team that, wasn't the greatest talent-wise, but still ended up being a game out of first place in the NFC South, which I know that's not great. Winston says the money for Lamar would be broken down so that he's getting paid around $20 a year, $20 in roster bonus, $10 broken down for workouts and other bonuses, so the cap hit is off of the year pay only. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things that that's how they'll offset that. It says good owners like Blank does what the Saints owner did, is give up front guaranteed money in terms of signing bonus that makes the cap impact not as bad as you think, and that's good up until the later years. Now he was doing that during the Breeze last hurrah years, and now they're paying for it because that $55 million. But again, as I said earlier in the broadcast, they're going to be $55 million under the cap right now, and they're still entertaining bringing in Derek Carr. And Derek ain't coming for $20 million to the Saints. So the mere fact that they're entertaining that being that far under the cap lets you know it can be done. David says, if Ridder is everything his supporters say he is, what do we do about paying him when it's time? Thoughts from y'all? Again, winning will change that whole narrative. Guess what, y'all? Brock Purdy might want a little extra lining in his pocket this year. You can argue Brock Purdy may, the way that Not saying, Patrick Mahomes is a different animal. But who knows if Brock Purdy stays healthy during that game, what happens? Philadelphia might have got exposed that week. Brock Purdy's not going to want to come into camp making whatever he's making. I know a 7th round pick can't be making $2-3 million next year. He might want his pockets lined. Jawan says, how are we going to be a salary cap? Hell, there are lots of ways to manipulate salary cap, especially when you already have money to spend. Jawan, sometimes, man, you're going to have to understand that I think people emotionally don't get that. I think we're stuck on just remembering the Matt situation and the Julio situation. And I get it, but people don't think above that sometimes. And I'm not mad at them, and I'm not saying that they're the scourge of the earth. I'm just saying people are hurt. People are hurt by what happened in the past. I'm going to have to get a couple of these questions. I'm going to try to get somebody we haven't heard from down here. False start in the house. Said, what's going on? Ain't no way. Justin, I don't know whether you meant Ritter. Well, you might mean Justin Fields. Justin Fields is already a better thrower, and that's what we need, a thrower. You have to show me which one you were talking about, brother, because you mixed them up there. Millie says, so technically Cleveland was ahead of everyone given the first big guarantee. Cap goes up every year, and every year players want more. So pay them a lot now without bickering. I get it. That's pretty much it. Kind of off the topic, how much do you think the size thing is going to affect where Young gets drafted? Probably a little bit, but I think I'm seeing a lot more people now coming back to earth with Bryce Young because of look, he is a winner at Alabama. And I think some of the things that you saw him do with his legs, man, not even as a rusher, just to get out of things, man. To me, you know what he looks like? And I don't know whether this is a great comparison. He looks like a more in control Kyler Murray. Does that make sense? I think Kyler Murray is really great athletically, but Bryce Young, man, to see some of those things he got out of last year, escapability, and still have the accuracy that he has coming out of that, that's a good dude. Latterberg says, speaking of injuries, Kyle Pitts was drafted number 4 in the NFL and missed last 7 games of the season. Do we trade him tomorrow because he's injury prone? Please stop it, people. Again, every NFL player is one play from being injury prone. We got to stop that. We got to stop that. What's up, Sean? Sean says, so we good with getting a quarterback that hasn't put up more than 3,500 yards in the season and is injury prone. Well, I mean, again, we go into injury prone. I hope everybody stays healthy this year because this injury prone thing, man, y'all gotta, this is football. Now, if you want to go to basketball that's not supposed to be as physical and talk about somebody injury prone, Zion, Anthony Davis, then we'll talk. Football, man, I don't know. I guess y'all expect them to stay upright. Travis, what's going on, man? Have I missed the Disbians whining about the possibility of getting Lamar? You haven't missed a lot, brother. Just push repeat when I leave. I would get down here again. A couple people I haven't heard from. Armand, what's going on, man? Saying probably teams that would take a shot at Brock from what he did in San Francisco. I agree. Brock ain't going nowhere there. Not for a 7th round pick. You're playing with easy money for the next couple of weeks. You can't do it. Jay, what's going on, brother? Say, Uncle Steve, I'm still laughing at you on 95 Smitty Sports Machine. It's amazing. Yeah. If y'all get a chance, y'all check out my brother Smitty Sports Machine and 95 North Sports Talk. Both of them. We had a little fun with them the other day on the show. Had a special guest resurrection on that show. Y'all go check it out. It's amazing how all of a sudden we're being discussed with every quarterback in the NFL. I'm excited and tired at the same time. That's really good. Yeah, it does bog you down for a lot because look, what you don't want to hear is things not stable in your organization. You don't want to hear that. And I think all of us at Falcon fans, of course, the goal is the Super Bowl. The goal is to be doing what Mahomes did. The goal is for us to be marching down Northside Drive, leading up to the Capitol building or wherever you want to go. That's the goal. But this is also exciting too, because for the first time, probably since 2007 going into 2008, you're going to see some major reconstruction with this team. And I'm all for it as long as it makes not only fiscal sense, but it's going to help us improve now. We have a window of opportunity with the weakness of the NFC South to be able to, you know what, get a cheap division. I don't care if we're 9-8 and win the division. That's a home playoff game. That's a chance for a home team to win a game at their place. See Jacksonville. Jacksonville got the number 1 pick last year, and they got a playoff game at home and won. They had salary cap room, and they didn't have like a great roster leading into the year. Couple of pieces here, couple of pieces there, and they were there. Only thing I wish we would have drafted Justin and he would have been heir apparent waiting for this year. Then we'd be in a better position. All right, y'all, I got to go make this money, man. Until then, we will check y'all out later on. Y'all enjoy the NBA All-Star game. I didn't even realize my son just told me they do it different. They pick right before the game, which is cool. So it'll be interesting to see that Sunday. And also see the XFL owned by If You Smell Love what The Rock is selling for the XFL this year. So that ought to be interesting to see what we have. Our brother Vic Beasley will be playing for the Vegas Vipers. I think that's what their name is. Something like that. But anyway, check it out. Until then, y'all take care. We'll catch y'all on down the line. Your Unc signing out. Peace.